You wake up on a Monday morning. No good morning texts. No small talk with your roommate. No hey to your coworker. Just silence. First it feels peaceful, almost like a holiday. But by day 3, your brain will have started to hallucinate. Your anxiety will have spiked like you're in physical danger. And some people, in as little as 72 hours, begin to lose their grip on reality. Today, we're going to find out exactly what happens to your mind and body when you don't speak to a single person for 3 days. By the end of day 1, the calm starts wearing off. You'll notice a strange restlessness, an itch you can't scratch. You might pick up your phone 15 times without knowing why. Open apps. Close them. Open them again. This isn't weakness. This is neuroscience. Your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical, during social interaction. No interaction means no oxytocin hit, and your brain notices the withdrawal almost like a mild addiction. Matthew Lieberman, a neuroscientist at UCLA, found that social pain and physical pain activate the same regions of the brain. That loneliness you feel on day 1, your brain is processing it the same way it processes a broken arm. Now add to that, your inner voice gets louder. Without external conversation, your internal monologue runs wild. You replay old arguments. You overthink things you said 3 years ago. Your brain fills the silence with noise of its own making. Day 2 is where things get interesting. Your sleep is probably off. Social interaction actually helps regulate your circadian rhythm, your internal body clock. Without it, your sleep cycle starts to drift. You might feel foggy, slower. Decision-making becomes harder. Even simple choices, what to eat, what to watch, feel oddly heavy. But here's the strangest part. Your brain starts inventing company. Research on solitary confinement prisoners and solo sailors showed the same thing. After 36 to 48 hours without human contact, people begin talking to objects, naming things, feeling like inanimate things have a presence. Remember Castaway? Wilson the volleyball wasn't just a movie trope. It was science. Your brain would rather hallucinate a social connection than have none at all. Because here's something wild. A 2020 MIT study found that the same neurons that fire when you're hungry for food fire when you're starved of social contact. Loneliness isn't just emotional, it's a hunger. And on day 2, you are genuinely starving. By day 3, your body is in low-level stress mode. Cortisol levels, the same stress hormone that dipped in the first hour, have now swung the other way. They're elevated, sustained. Your immune system is quietly weakening. Inflammation markers in your blood are rising. This is your body treating loneliness as a biological emergency. John Cacioppo, one of the world's leading researchers on loneliness, spent decades studying this. He found that chronic isolation affects the body at a genetic level, switching on genes linked to inflammation and switching off genes linked to immune defense. 3 days won't rewrite your DNA, but it's enough to feel the first tremors of what long-term isolation does to a person. Cognitively, your verbal fluency drops. The part of your brain responsible for forming sentences, Broca's area, actually becomes less active without practice. Think about that. You could literally start to struggle to find words. Not because you're tired, because language is social, and without society it starts to fade. Some extreme cases, people in isolation experiments reported paranoia, a creeping sense that something was wrong, that the silence wasn't empty. 72 hours without human contact and your brain starts to turn on itself. Now here's the part nobody talks about. When you finally speak again, when someone says your name or asks how you are, the relief is almost physical. Your brain floods with dopamine. Your nervous system exhales. Some people cry, genuinely cry, from the sound of a friendly voice. And that first conversation back feels electric, more meaningful than usual. Like you've been reminded of something you forgot you needed. Researchers who study silence retreats, people who voluntarily go quiet for days, report the same thing. Coming back to conversation feels like putting on warm clothes after being cold for a very long time. But there's a flip side. Some people who do this intentionally, monks, meditators, writers on retreat, report that brief social silence sharpens the mind, increases creativity, deepens self-awareness. The difference between chosen silence and imposed isolation is everything. One is a tool, the other is a trap. So what actually happens if you don't talk to anyone for 3 days? Your brain scans for threats that aren't there. Your body processes loneliness like physical pain. You start talking to objects. Your immune system begins to buckle. And your language, the very thing that makes you human, starts going quiet too. 3 days is enough to feel what isolation really does. Imagine what happens after 3 weeks. Or 3 months. Well, that's a story for another what if.